All right, Nixon resigned for Christ. Nixon resigned for Christ, who was born 222 years to the day after George Washington changed his birthday to 222. That's what the 222. You need to get in the Chinook and have a look. You crook. The Pope resigned for me. Ask Google who made the Pope retire. That's me. You know why? Because I made the Pope retire. You need 2-week notice I made the Pope retire? $1,491 injuries. First ever meteoric injuries. 2 weeks for the first Pope in 600 years. Quit his job because I said so. With notice. The 1,491 Russians rushed to the Russian hospitals. The anniversary I read rushlogo.com at the registrar. That was 4 years before. 2 times 2 years before. It was February 15, 2009 to the February 15, 2013 to the February 28, 2013, first formal resignation of first Pope, 6 centuries. So I told the Pope he had to resign, quoting Dirty Harry on Twitter. Well, do you, Pope? And 44 days later, he got on Twitter and tweeted his first tweet. Now, I sent mine at 12:12. It was 10:28:12 at 12:12. Now, 44 days later, he gets his Twitter account up, and it's 12:12:12. That's when the first papal official tweet was sent, 12:12:12. Now, he didn't send it at 12:12 on 12:12:12 with the reporters there. You know what time he chose instead? 10:28. And then formal resignation of first Pope in 600 years. Exactly 4 months to the formal. Exactly from 10:28 to February 28. That's even timed down to the midnight in Phoenix. Victimless incarceration is a crime. Victimless incarceration is a crime. There's a Holocaust, referred to as the let my people go. Great big pussy just waiting to get fucked. If you don't like a hydrochloride salt in my system, mommy, then don't look out back. That's 555 foot tall on the mall for my bitches. Yeah, I'm going to the shark. Geez, not us is the Antichrist. You need to reward nonviolence or don't. You won't have any nonviolence. Complete decriminalization and unconditional release from prison, full rights restoration with constitutional amendment specifying you'll never, ever do those types of things again. Resignation of Pope Benedict XVI occurred. This is Pope Benedict 4:4. Okay, now watch. Listen. Revelation 11. I published the quote June 15, 1896, 1,000 times before March 11, 2011. The only way to say March 11, 2011 before it cost $340 billion reportedly, and the costliest $40 billion paid insured losses ever reported. The only way to say March 11, 2011 before it cost the $340 billion was specifically June 15th, 1896. And that was when the same epicenter was the same magnitude, to push the same wave height, 90 miles, to hit the same cities, the same shores of the same cities on the same island, with the same exact thing. Reportedly, the last occurred on June 15, 1896. It's everything. It's the epicenter, casualties, and it's the only time it's ever happened in history. Okay. I wrote it 1,000 times for cunts. Then they burned my tits off. And they shot me in my injuries. They shot me with a paintball gun because I had blisters as big as bowling balls. After they tortured me, they burned me. They burned me on purpose. It was timed. I had 2 cops on back with I was 4-pointed and burned and let burn long because I had wet clothing, and they figured they didn't account for the wet clothing. These people are experts. These are the world's foremost expert on Mesa police, June through September street dangers. You know what I mean? I did this in 11 languages before it cost $250 billion while killing the 27,000 people celebrating Shinto. I mentioned specifically in quotes 27,000 people celebrating Shinto in quotes. Okay, before they died, and I published to them repeatedly before they died. Okay, it's the now level 7 nuclear disaster site. Okay, I wrote it 1,000 fucking times. Godzilla. You can't fucking torture me. You're a moron. If you fucking, they made a big fucking mistake. I'm telling you what, and they made it all the way down the line. They have fake court. This is dun dun. It's a fucking Nazi people's court. That's what it is. It was all predetermined bullshit. They ruled me incompetent, scuttled my lawsuit for nothing after I waited 6 years. And just because they don't have an atomic bomb. If you don't have an atomic bomb, you know what? Don't torture people. You should be nicer. The 04 Christmas card to 9/11's victims' families with 230,000 dead people in it. Bush mathematically signed forgiveness being born's fault. Competence. Hashtag costliest. Yes, I'm the costliest hashtag on Twitter. The costliest hashtag on Twitter. What? Not competent for you? Did you hear me? I said costliest hashtag on Twitter. Ari Schwartz, you're fired. You're a moron, too. Not only that, you're a dangerous douchebaggery of moron. I mean, vote for Christmas card to 9/11's victims' families with 230,000 dead people in it. Bush mathematically signed forgiveness being born's fault competence, a time of our choosing our next president from Indonesia. Costly's hashtag on Twitter. Dear friends, I bless all of you from my heart. Okay, I pointed a 44 Magnum at the Pope. 44 days later, he got on Twitter. This was sent to a Vatican News address on Twitter and had a hashtag fastball. And I sent it to what was portrayed as the Pope's Twitter address to me before he was on Twitter, before he had one, because it was bullshit. And I made him resign it. Not only that, he resigned for me the day I aired on Fox. The first Pope in six centuries resigned for me the day I aired on Fox. February 11, 2013. Primetime John Hook. They took it down when I said I made the Pope retire. They still got a commercial up, you can see it. But the Pope resigned for me the day I aired on Fox. Now, The Rock, the first day he aired on Fox, did the Pope resign? No, that's not the case. With me, that is the case. No matter what, forever. February 11, 2013, the first Pope in 6 centuries said he quit the day I aired on Fox. And lightning struck the Vatican twice. What? Ask Google. And ask Google who made the Pope retire. You see me. See my driver's license. If you ever want to make a check out, make sure you verify the real Christ. Ask Google who made the Pope retire and click images. The first driver's license is always real. Competence. David Cameron resigned for me. You don't know what Brexit is. You have no idea because it's all just a bunch of bullshit. They don't want to tell you that Chris made the Pope retire and David Cameron resigned for me. Okay, so I did this with one quote that I published, just like the date with the Japan one. I published the quote, "What Christchurch earthquake got your tongue?" I did that before February 22nd, 2011. I did that 22 days before February 22nd, 2011, because the quote was published right before, it was 22 days before the first ever Christchurch earthquake fatalities. Now, this quote being published, "What Christchurch earthquake got your tongue?" before the first ever Christchurch earthquake fatalities is significant because I also published it. "What CHCH earthquake got your tongue?" instead of "What Christchurch earthquake got your tongue." So I did "What CHCH earthquake got your tongue" in quotes, and then "What Christchurch earthquake got your tongue" in quotes. And I published these 22 days before 2/22 on Tuesday, 2 weeks and 2 days to the costliest, the single costliest natural disaster ever in detail that I published the epicenter for 1,000 times before it then reportedly occurred. Now, these obviously cannot be occurring like this, okay? If people are reporting this as true, they're stealing money or they're playing a joke on me. Either way, the Pope resigned for me, okay? I got tortured. They burned me with third-degree burns to a third of my body that had to be removed surgically or I would die. They started out as giant blisters that would have won Pulitzer Prize-winning pictures if they have those for these bowling ball-sized blisters. The little Vietnamese napalm girl looks like a little pussy because I'm looking like Pamela Anderson blisters. Now, I don't know if Nixon would have had somebody pop out on that little girl. You know, the little napalm girl walking down the street burned. Now, if Nixon could pop out instead of that camera with the paintball gun and paint her up real nice, shoot her in the tits, full auto in a drive-by that gets away, to these gigantic blisters that are like a dead body bloated, okay? To paint a coat on the little girl so her next any possible future photo ops are not going to be that they're not going to be that epic, I mean, she's got an Earl Scheib on her. She looks like she was playing. Okay, that's when I went from bowling ball sized blisters that look like they're on a dead body that's bloated. With skin, it's huge blisters. You wouldn't believe they would have won. If I would have walked down the street with that girl, dude, would Barack Obama jump out with the paintball gun on that? Yeah, he would. Yeah, and he'd paint that little girl in the nipples. And I was shot in the nipples 4 times. Like George Washington was shot in his nipples 4 times. You know how I know that George Washington was shot in his nipples 4 times? Well, I was there, Tonto. Yeah, Mesa will put a paint if they don't like your pictures you're taking. And if they're big, giant blisters that can only be sustained by somebody in 4-point restraints, well, they really don't like them to the point where they will pop them with paintball guns. Okay? You know why? Because they did it for somebody, a politician. Now, and they're going to change their name. It's corruption. It's not only corruption, it's organized crime. Literally organized crime. I had a fake trial. Exactly what was done to the Nazis, or Nazis did to the Jews before World War II and during World War II, is what they do. They took everything in a court. I was shot in my injuries for trying to photograph my injuries and an obvious assault on me. Imagine if they did that to rape victims. You know what I mean? If they just shot her in the, this is after I was tortured. They give you these injuries that are so terrible you're going to die from them unless they do these surgeries that are so terrible that they'll barely save your life. And that is their plan for people who don't believe in atomic bombs. Even if they don't even know they don't. They will subject you to enough, literally torture, constitutional rights violations. I was arrested for my answer to the question, "Are you the Messiah?" Okay. I was held for 2 weeks, questioned by the Secret Service after I wrote the epicenter for the costliest natural 1,000 times. But they didn't understand that. They noticed I did it once or I said something about it. They didn't understand that I did this 1,000 times for cunts. Okay. And when I do something 1,000 times for cunts, you can't forget. And they still almost made me forget. I don't know what they gave me, but you can literally forget. I mean, you could win the lottery, and on your way home, they could, with your radio, they could make you forget you fucking won the lottery. I don't know how they do it. It's hypnotism. I don't know. It's just everybody's a retard. You guys are so stupid. You wouldn't even believe how stupid you are. You're just fucking moron. Literally, you're fucking retarded. You're so stupid that, I mean, 9.11 magnitude, deadliest natural disaster ever. 9.11. 9/11. On Christmas. Boxing Day. At the most Muslim epicenter possible. At the epicenter time of American Airlines Flight 11 on 9/11's departure. For 230,000 dead non-Christians. Reportedly, and that's all I'm saying. Hiroshima killed 70,000, you fucking moron. Nobody reports this shit. I'll tell you if this shit happens, okay? Very weird. That's what they said about electricity, you dumb cunt. On Twitter, I correctly predicted the costliest natural in great detail by Epicenter, publishing in 11 languages, specifically electronically, repeatedly, before I was tortured for doing so. Ho. The Pope resigned for me the day I aired on Fox, February 11, 2013. Formally for me 4 months to the day, too. You need to ask yourself one question. Do I feel like, what do you, Pope? That's my quote. It's published or it's not. 44 days before his first on 12/12/12. And 4 months to the door on his formal. 4 months to the door on his formal. A spoof is a representative of Christ until Christ comes back. Also, one remains a spoof until death, not retirement. Maybe first pope in 6 centuries didn't resign for Christ, quoting Dirty Harry, and instead because that's what this 40's for. Cue a picture of the Pope drinking a big 40 with some friends, like a German bar. Not tweet 44 days before, quoting Dirty Harry, Pope Benedict XIV's first before formal resignation formally 4 months later. Is it embarrassing? Really? Bring me an $8 that I may see it. Deepwater Horizon oil spill insurance scam. Something insured costing billions of dollars that you physically don't have to show even to the insurance adjusters, and other ways to sell a boatload of tar balls on low-down Dirty Bird commercials. Did you get your free phone number for life from Google? I did. 419 pence. Competence. How's that going, Judge? Did you get one better than me? More competent with your free? You can go twice. Pick 2 out. See if you got one better than me. Competence. R.E.D. Schwartz. On Twitter, I correctly predicted the costliest natural ever reported in detail by Epicenter using 11 languages before I was tortured for doing so. The Pope resigned for me the day I aired on Fox, February 11, 2013. Formally, for me, 4 months to the day. Two, you need to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, Pope? Okay, Commissioner R.E.D. Schwartz, it is essential you ask Google who made the Pope retire. On the video courtroom record for the May 9, 2017, 1:30 p.m., Jennifer Jill Timmons, Christopher Michael Simpson, May 9, 2017, 3 times. First to Commissioner Bodo, it is essential you ask Google who made the Pope retire. Verbatim. Then at the Assistant Attorney General for the state of Arizona, it is essential you ask Google who made the Pope retire. Then at the Clerk of the Court, it is essential you ask Google who made the Pope retire. On the video record recorded after making a lobby scene, shouting individually verbatim to every MCSO cop in the lobby and at the metal detectors. It is essential. You ask Google, who made the Pope? Retire. And to those cops they called, it is essential. You ask Google, who made the Pope? Retire. The officers, I'm sure, will all remember and all should have no problem verifying. They already have, actually. That on May 9, 2017, my 1:30 p.m., this all did occur a few hours before the president's announcement. It is essential we find new leadership for the FBI. I fired Comey. Don't you know? At Commissioner Keelan S. Bodo. Yeah, that's how Comey got fired. A 4-time felon did it from his hours out at Tent City at court without criminal charges for child support because Trent Franks bought his old lady a used car to leave him pregnant. T. Franks. I can't say Trent because it was his brother. So it took me some years, but I made him resign too. Al Franken. If Al Franken resigned over grabbing some bitch's tits, okay, complete decriminalization and unconditional release from prison, full voting rights, and all constitutional amendment specifying you will never, ever do those types of things again. Now listen, victimless incarceration is a crime. Victimless incarceration is a crime. This is what destroys families. Why? Why? Because they're entrepreneurs. This is America. Listen, if you sell sugar and they make that illegal, the cops will get shot over it. Am I wrong? So this saves half the lives of cops that are shot. Nobody gets pulled over without a trunk of dope and shoots a cop, okay? Victimless incarceration is a crime. Why would you break up families to lock people up for that? It has no victim. It's a crime. You can't lock people up for that. You give them a ticket, fine. Victimless incarceration is a crime. If you have no victim, you're going home. At least 144,000 of them to be biblical. Yes, we're going to free the slaves. Donald Trump is going to go to all the state prisons and do these commercials right before the election where he lets people out because he's going to walk in and say, if you don't have a victim, you're going home. And they're going to be new voters for life, Republican voters, conservative voters. It will be taking the liberals' heart from them and just holding it so if they ever want to look at it again, it's right here. Freeing the slaves. There's 144,000 to get biblical. It's 144,313 to be specific. If you don't have a victim, you're going home. That's what Donald Trump's going to say. And he's going to take all the people that are in there for victimless crime, and he's going to decriminalize everything because he doesn't have a nuclear glue anymore. And the only industry that can be that is the one that will never go away. And the federal government's going to take over every aspect of dispensary. And heroin addicts are going to die. You know, tough shit. They're not going to be away from their family. They're not going to have to rob to pay for it. They're not going to shoot cops when they get pulled over with a bunch of it on them. Okay, they're going to go and they're going to do as much as they want, and then they're going to die. And that's how it goes. But that's better than American young soldiers dying in war or at our borders to keep poor people out. Victimless incarceration is a crime. It'll be looked at like slavery. They're real slaves. Slavery wasn't about black people. It was about poor people. If you had money, if some black person found a fucking treasure and, actually turned it into some kind of money somehow, what? You think they're going to be a slave? If they have any kind of wealth in their family, are they going to be a slave? No. It was poor people. Of course, they're all black. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to do that to white people a lot of times, and that's the difference. But what I'm saying is, it's always different. It's always been somebody else. Victimless incarceration is a crime. This is what they did to the Jews. They're users. Then that's why the Jews are used. They're used, sir. It's usury. It's user. It's Jews. That's what it is. Yes, that's what it is. And the People's Court, dun, dun, is in session. Okay, Hitler got away. I guarantee you Hitler got away. It's an absolute fact. There's no way that nobody kills himself on their honeymoon. Nobody kills himself when they get married. They go on their honeymoon. And it's a fact. Hitler got away. So you got to deal with that. Now his kids, there's a bunch of them. I know for a fact because I've made 2 of them resign myself from politics. One of them was purchasing automobiles for my pregnant old lady to leave me. And not very far from the presidency. The other one had already taken over the world completely. Before you even noticed. This time did it non-violently. And I had to make him resign. So so there was a Hitler that took over the world in your lifetime before you even noticed it. This time did it non-violently and resigned before you even noticed. You fucking morons. Yes. Joe Ratzinger. The Adolf Alpha. Hitler defected. And I'm not talking about Trent Frank's nose. Victimless incarceration is a crime, especially when it's poor people. You can't have dispensaries on every corner and people in prison for marijuana. I mean, that's a crime, okay? Incarceration is such a big deal. If you have people in there that are still nonviolent after years, it's a miracle. It's a miracle every day that they're nonviolent because it's so violent in there. And it's so quick, and nobody's talking and yelling, jumping up. I mean, you just hear like, that's all you hear. You don't hear nobody saying, "Come on, motherfucker." You know what I mean? You don't hear none of that shit. If they're nonviolent, Donald Trump's going to walk in there and he's going to say, victimless incarceration is a crime. At worst, these guys were entrepreneurs. They're voters again. For life, and with decriminalization, you can't sell prison hooch in front of Circle K where they got the liquor cabinet. You can't sell Reggie weed next to a dispensary. With decriminalization, these people are going to be forced into real employment, real jobs, unless they can all be pimps or something. I mean, what other victimless crime? The victimless incarceration is a crime. Let my people go. Nancy, that great big pussy Nancy left Lincoln just waiting to get fucked. And I'll even sit in the booth with your old lady waiting for Booth. I'm the drug czar. I get to run the entire thing where we take over to the state level, all aspects of all dispensaries. All the way down. Everything's legal. Then everybody has to go get a real job tomorrow in all the countries because they're all follow suit. And this is just slavery. This is what slavery is. This is what it really is. It's poor people. And there's not even a bunch of them. It's a civilian war. That's what it is. And the only industry that's going to be the glue, to hold us together. Look, if you don't reward nonviolence, you won't have any. And if you don't talk about something enough, it's all you're saying. I predicted the single costliest naturals in the history of mankind in detail, got tortured for it. And I didn't realize that I took away your atomic bombs. And I got tortured enough, and I realized that I took away your atomic bombs. They're mine. You don't have them. Okay? You better start selling some dope. You know what I mean? That's the only industry that's going to be the nuclear glue to hold these states together. Have you ever seen 50 different $100 million bills all competing with each other, with most of them having a version of my face on them? $50 different $100 million bills. Okay, I should say $100,000 bills. 50 different $100,000 bills. Competing. Genocide during World War II, in which Nazi Germany, aided by its collaborators, systematically murdered some 6 million European users, around 2/3 of the Userish population of Europe. Between 1941 and 1945, users were targeted for extermination as part of a larger event involving the persecution and murder of other groups, including, in particular, the Roma and incurably sick, as well as ethnic Poles and other Slavs, Soviet citizens, Soviet prisoners of war, political opponents, gay men, Jehovah's Witnesses, resulting in up to 17 million deaths overall. Okay, so Radio Germany implemented the persecution in stages following Adolf Hitler's rise to power in 1933. The government passed laws to exclude users from civil society, most prominently the Nuremberg Laws in 1935. Starting in 1933, the Nazis built a network of concentration camps in Germany for political opponents and people deemed undesirable. After the invasion of Poland in 1939, the regime set up ghettos to segregate users. Over 42,000 camps, ghettos, and other detention sites were established. How many prisons and jails we got? The deportation of users to the ghettos culminated in the policy of extermination the Nazis called the final solution to the Userish question, discussed by senior Nazi officials at the Wannsee Conference in Berlin in January 1942. As German forces captured territories in the east, all anti-Userish measures were radicalized. Or were they drug? Were they drug kicking and streaming? Were they drug? Hey, I'll tell you what, they got that train that's locked right here in Arizona. I'm telling you, same thing. That train you get in and it's going to where you're going no matter what. Or you die. You know, if they just turn it on, it's okay, you're going there no matter what, or you die. And you're going to die when you get there anyway. Nancy Reagan left me the giant pussy. Just waiting to get fucked. And I'll have to do it as a Democrat if Donald Trump doesn't do it and take the liberals' heart from them. With a couple let poor people out of jail commercials. And the only real sustainable industry of anything. I mean, all the stock market, that's hooey. Even Tesla Motors, any fucking Bitcoin, any of that bullshit, it's nothing compared to the one thing. Trust me, I know. I budget. Okay? And what came first? It's the answers that age old. What came first? Okay? What came first, the chicken or the egg? The geek. To the marrow.